that was hard to sit through that song. You just wanted to rise up. How do you sit through a song and say, rise up? All right. Thank you, Dinah. Thank you, Robert. They have set my talk up perfectly because my talk is come up higher. And I have to just take this one moment. There are two lovely ladies here from South Central that I spent a week in a hotel room with when we went to the conference in San Diego, and I just want to thank you. I feel gifted that you're here with me today. 4 women in a hotel room. I remember that well. It was good, I know. And I looked out and I saw, and I'm like, wow, I got out here. How cool is that? Today, come up higher was the lesson and the message that I got this summer. It was the calling that I heard in my soul. I was given the opportunity and truly blessed by my internship at Unity of Charlottesville in Charlottesville, Virginia. What a phenomenal place. And these 2 ministers, Reverend Don and Patricia Lansky, just embraced me. And every meeting they went to, they drugged me to everything. I got church as I never knew it. And they asked me to see if I would like to teach a class. And they suggested Lessons in Truth. Well, I'm an LUT, licensed Unity teacher, so I can teach it without them being present, and everyone can get credit. So it was good for them and was good for me. And I knew, I've been through that book numerous times, was the very first class I ever took before I even went to a service at Unity. I read and went to a class with the Lessons in Truth. I taught Lessons in Truth to the teenagers. I taught it in SEE, and now I'm teaching it again. But there's a little problem. That book that has all my writings, all my highlights, all the things in the margins and the stars is in Lee Summit, Missouri. I didn't know what I was going to teach before I got there, and I thought, and I don't know about you, but I highlight in different colors depending upon which time I take the book, take the class, and so, underlined in blue, stars by the points to make in class. Oh, how awesome is that? Well, my book's over here. Now, I thought about it. I could have called a couple friends. Someone would have gone to the house. They would have gotten it and mailed it to me. But I decided in that moment to do something different. I decided this was a gift to me. And I was going to do like author Marcus Borg did, and I was going to read it again for the first time. I figured if he could do it with the Bible, I could do it with Lessons in Truth. Aren't they sort of the same? I think they are. Unity's Bible, the Christian Bible, they're pretty close. So anyway, so I got that book, and you know how a new book is. It's nice, and it's tight, and all the pages are clean, and I went, wow, clean slate. I'm going to claim this gift today. And I started the process. In the beginning, it sets up concepts like what's God and what's the Christ light. And then it gives us our tools. And as I'm progressing in the class, I get to chapter 8, Spiritual Understanding. And in that moment, I knew what my gift was. Emily Cady says, we're being called to come up higher. Come up higher. And she goes on to explain it's when we've all had demonstrations of answered prayers in our lives, of manifestation. We've seen it happen. And she's asking us to let go of the process of having it happen. And to come up higher with the spiritual understanding that it's God in, as, and through every moment of every day. Every moment. Not just when we're praying and we get that answer. So on my way home back from my internship, on my way home back to Lee Summit, and it's really interesting because I didn't claim living here until this summer on my way back home. Because home was Richmond, and now I'm going back home. So I end up having a demonstration of an answered prayer. I'm driving along, and I know I need gas, and I'm going to get it. I'm 5 miles away from the next gas station. It's 96 degrees out. There's my golden retriever in the back seat and my cat in the front seat. And traffic stops. And it stops for hours. And now I'm on fumes. And I did what every good person who knows the truth, I hit the top of the ceiling and I said, just like Myrtle Fillmore said, I said, may my faith hold out longer than this gas. I figured if she did it, I can too. And a friend called me. Well, I can answer the phone. It's not like we're driving. And I said, I need you to pray for a miracle. And I need it now. And I know I'm a spiritual person, and I know if I run out of gas, everything's going to be fine, but I'm not there right now, okay? I'm just not. You know, the dog, the cat, the traffic, just whatever. And so she got off the phone. She says, I'm gonna pray after we get off the phone. I'm going to pray you get a miracle. And so I finally turned the car off. My answer wasn't in this car. I turned the car off. I get out. And I go over to the two guys in the road next to me, in the lane next to me. And I said, what do you think? He goes, last time this happened, it was 6 hours. Oh, that's not good. I said, I'm on fumes. And I go in the back of the car, and I'm like, I believe in miracles. And he comes up and he goes, I had failed to see that they had lawnmower equipment. And he said, we have 4 gallons of gas we can give you. Now, I want you to know I've never seen an answered prayer quite in the same way. And I was grateful for it. And I had a demonstration that it's not in that moment. It's also about if I wouldn't have gotten gas from here, that I knew I would be okay. That I knew that the animals would be okay and that I'd get to at least Summit, Missouri the way I was meant to. And it's God in every moment, even in the moments that aren't so much fun. So as I was preparing for this service, Come Up Higher, because I knew that was my gift, I was led to go back to some pictures of 9 years ago this October. It was definitely a hard time in my life, and probably the hardest. And those pictures were of a friend, David, who showed up at my house and asked me what was going on, and I told him, and he said, come on, we're going to go hike a mountain. And we drove to Goshen, Virginia that day, and we hiked that mountain. And David knows nothing about metaphysics, nor did I at this point. These pictures have sat on my nightstand for 9 years. And as we hiked the mountain, we're sitting on top of this mountain and we're looking at the glorious colors of autumn, and we can see for miles. And I'm noticing the birds, and instead of looking up at the birds, I'm looking down at the birds. I'm seeing their topside, and they're soaring all over as if they have no care in the world, and they're doing what they do naturally, flying. And David said at that moment, where's the person I met? And I said, oh, she's gone. And he said to me, go find her. And I realized as I was preparing for that service 9 years ago, he was calling me to come up higher than the problem that I'm in. We have every moment of the day the ability to come up higher than our thought. And as I demonstrated while I was sitting in the car, I was not going to find the solution to the problem in the midst of my problem. I had to step away from it for that moment. And I did. And I had 2 earth angels show up in that moment to help me. So we never find it when we're in the midst of it. But if we can stay always in the presence and the power of God that we claim in unity is everywhere present. But how often do we say, but not in this problem, not in this crisis? No, everywhere present everywhere present. So then as I was talking with Reverend Kelly about my chapel service, I'm telling her about this prayer, Reveal the Grace Prayer by Deidre Price. Reveal that which needs to be revealed and heal that which needs to be healed so I can glorify God. And the God I'm talking about is you. The only way you glorify God is to glorify yourself. And you accept yourself. And I left Kelly's in my meeting, and I realized that, I prayed that prayer for 9 years, but it really wasn't the words that I adopted in my head. What I really adopted was, reveal that which needs to be healed so I can glorify God. So I realized after the meeting that I spent a 9-year quest to dig up, like an archaeological dig, everything in my life that needed to be healed. Oh, Lord. I failed to see the treasures. Archaeologists don't dig for the sake of digging. They dig for the treasures that are underneath it. And I realized, no, reveal that which needs to be revealed is revealing your spiritual gifts. Revealing those gifts that only you can demonstrate uniquely as you. We were all given special gifts to use on this earth. Reveal those to us. And then if you're in that prayer of revealing, reveal how we use them and to who we use them. That's what it is. And it doesn't mean we ignore heal. Yeah, heal that which needs to come up so we can glorify the God of our presence, of ourselves. So I want to take you to a Bible verse. Luke 10:38-42. All of us, for the most part, I think would know it. It is when Jesus visits Martha. And I'm a big metaphysical junkie, so interpretation, I love it, so that's what we will do here. Now as they went on the way, he, Jesus, entered a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. She had a sister named Mary who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to what he was saying. But Martha was distracted by her many tasks. So she came to him and she asked, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me with all the work by myself? Tell her then to help me. Martha, Martha, Jesus says, you are worried and distracted by many things. There is need for only one thing. And Mary has chosen the better part, which will not be taken away from her. Now, we all go about doing, and metaphysically, we know all those parts of that story are us. We can be the Martha doing and doing and doing, and we can be the Mary at times, sitting at the feet of understanding. But today I want to talk about Jesus. Jesus sat there in that chair and claimed what he was. He knew it. And he didn't stay in the chair for the rest of his life. He had to get out eventually because he had a soul's purpose. He had a life's journey. He had work he had to accomplish. So he sat in that moment. And it's recognizing the truth of who we are. We are God in expression, expressing uniquely as us, forever developing the awareness of who we are. And Jesus recognized it. And then it takes getting up and doing. He had to get up and do. Well, you say, but Martha was doing. Yes, she was doing. But she was doing of the sense of, I have so much I need to do. Where Jesus is doing from the ability to reveal that which needs to be done by me and give me the tools to do it so I may express my gift outwardly, the gift that I was born with, the gift that I am nurturing, the gift that I choose to share with each and every one of you. And that's how Jesus showed up. And my talk today is to tell you, you are Jesus in the story. You are that essence, and it's time for all of us to really embrace revealing that as what is ours to do. And sometimes people fall away because they might not be going on that path with us. But others show up because they're going with us. And we're coming up higher. We're always focusing on higher, not necessarily a high climb up a mountain, but knowing that where you are is the gift. So now I want to take you back in time just a few years, to 1995. There was a young man, a movie star, who played Superman. We all know him, Christopher Reeves. And in 1995, he went out and he was competing in a horse equestrian tournament. And most all of us know the story. He was thrown from the horse and he had a spinal cord injury. And I can only try to imagine what that would be like, to be told that I am now a quadriplegic. But he was told that. And then one day, and I'm going to read his words. And then, at an especially bleak moment, the door flew open and in hurried a squat fellow with a blue scrub hat and a yellow surgical gown and glasses. And he was speaking in a Russian accent. The man announced that he was a proctologist and was ready to perform an exam. It was Robin Williams, his most dearest friend. Reeves wrote, "For the first time since the accident, I laughed. My old friend had helped me to know that somehow I was going to be okay. Somehow I was going to be okay." And he set out to do things. He brought self-awareness to the spinal cord injuries. He lobbied on behalf of people with spinal cord injuries and for stem cell research. He founded Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation and co-founded the Reeve and Irvin Research Center. Until he passed away in 2004, he never stopped living. He never stopped working to know what is his to do in this moment. And that's what I'm calling you to do today, is to come up higher. Just like David did when I was up on that mountaintop. At some level, he was saying, come up higher. Claim the truth to what you are. Go find her. She's there. She hasn't left. Your Christ self can never leave you. Just depends on whether we're operating from it at this moment. So now back to spiritual understanding. My call to you today is to let your light shine, to have the spiritual understanding within you that you are the Christ light expressing uniquely as yourself, and that every relationship, every encounter, everything you're going through is an opportunity for you to live in that spiritual understanding that God is present, everywhere present, as you. I just want to thank you all for coming. I see your Christ light. Let it shine. Thank you.